Manifest your miraculous light. Divine blessings await in 12 days of heavenly abundance. In the heart of a quaint English village, the air was thick with hope and divine expectancy. As spring awakened the landscape, vibrant blooms burst forth, echoing the fervent prayers of villagers gathered near the ancient stone church dedicated to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. Banners flapped joyfully in the breeze, proclaiming 12 days of heavenly abundance. Little did they know, faith was about to be tested in ways they could never have imagined. Sarah, a devoted mother in her late 30s, felt the warmth of her community as she huddled close with her neighbors, hearts united in purpose. But just as petal-laden branches swayed with the winds of change, so too did her life. Her youngest child was diagnosed with a serious illness that sent tremors of fear rippling through her heart. Each night, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah took refuge in the church, joining fervent gatherings. Their prayers entwined like a vine, seeking a miracle. She felt an unmistakable spiritual hum fill the air, as if angels themselves hovered just beyond human sight, drawn by their desperate pleas. On the third evening of prayer, Father Thomas, an elderly priest with a voice like a warm hearth, approached Sarah. His eyes twinkled with an otherworldly fire. "Child, your fervent faith shall draw forth divine blessings that will astonish you. Miracles bloom from unwavering hearts." His words stirred something deep within her, igniting flickers of hope amid the encroaching shadows of doubt. But doubt is a fierce adversary. Sarah's sister, Sarah's voice filled with skepticism, cautioned her. "You're chasing phantoms, sister. Abandon this folly before it shatters you." Yet, with each gathering and each hymn sung, the communal spirit wrapped around her like a golden thread, binding her to a web of hope she dared not sever. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the deadline to the festival loomed, the village buzzed with anticipation. People lit candles, their flickering flames casting ethereal shadows on stone walls. The weight of prayer hung heavy in the air, vibrating with an aura of expectancy. Hearts beat like a drum, rising and falling in rhythm with each pleading whisper. And then, as the prayers of the faithful surged to a crescendo, something miraculous stirred in the silence. It began as a gentle warmth coursing through the church, a glow that washed over every soul present. It crescendoed with palpable intensity, a sweet, miraculous oasis amidst Sarah's turmoil. Just then, a gasp spread through the crowd. Her child's health took a turn, responding to the collective faith in this crossroads moment. But even as joy cascaded over the congregation, a realization washed through Sarah. This miracle was not just about her child's healing. It was a rebirth of communal spirit, drawing every heart closer than before. The true essence of Father Thomas's words lingered like sweet music, whispering that faith united was the greatest miracle of all. Yet shadows of doubt still lingered within her. Had their fervent pleas revealed the miracle they sought? Or was the glimmer of hope merely the first step in a broader journey of trials yet to come? As the night thickened around them, questions swirled like a sacred storm, leaving Sarah suspended, yearning for answers that may be ahead. As dawn broke over the village, the golden rays spilled through the stained glass, painting the pews with colors of hope. Sarah awoke with the sense that something profound was unfolding, a deeper current beneath the surface of her life. The night's prayers lingered in her heart, whispering promises of divine assurance. Gathering with her neighbors for the fourth gathering of prayer, the atmosphere crackled with energy. Each person, a thread in the vibrant tapestry of faith, offered their own petitions, hopes, and dreams. Friends clasped hands tightly, tears of joy and anguish resting on the edges of fervent lips. Father Thomas stood at the front, his presence grounding those around him. "Today," he began, the warmth of his voice wrapping around them like a blanket, "is a day of reflection. Each of you carries a story of need, but also of faith. What if we took a moment to share our trials? Let every voice rise. Let them mingle together before the heavens." Sarah's heart raced. This was more than just prayer. It was a chance for their individual burdens to blend into a powerful plea for mercy. One by one, villagers opened their hearts, sharing fears and anxieties that had long been harbored in silence. A widow spoke of loneliness, a businessman voiced worry over failing finances, a child whispered of struggles in school. Each testimony took flight, soaring skyward, lifted by the wings of faith and community. As she listened, a profound realization enveloped Sarah. Each story was a reminder that together they were strong. Each pain echoed in the heart of another. Hope sparked anew, igniting her spirit with a fervor she hadn't known before. "Lord, unite us," she prayed silently, "strengthen our bond." The energy shifted when an elderly man, Mr. Williams, shuffled forward. His hands trembled, yet his words flowed like water from a spring. "Friends," he rasped, "I've journeyed through great darkness, but in my need I found a light. Not only the light of God, but the light of you, my neighbors. Your kindness sustained me when I thought I would wither away. Let us remember, it is in each other that we find strength." With that, a wave of emotion swept through the congregation, who knew that strength could be drawn not from the absence of struggle, but from sharing it. As tears streamed down faces and hands lifted in praise, the church felt like a sanctuary filled with divine purpose. Yet, amidst this swell of communal strength, the shadow of doubt lingered in Sarah's heart. Was it truly enough? Would this collective light overcome her despair? Just then, the church door creaked, allowing a cool breeze to whisper through the gathered souls. Sarah felt a chill dance across her skin, an omen of something beyond the tangible, a divine presence. In that moment, she turned her gaze toward St. Jude's statue, enlightening its serene expression. "What more must we do to manifest this miracle?" she pondered, uncertainty mingling with faith. How could she urge this hope to bloom further? As the congregation fell silent, their hearts beating in unison, Sarah felt electricity crackling in the air, the sense that a new chapter was unfolding. The very essence of their communal prayer promised that they were on the brink of revelation. What could that divine manifestation be? What was God preparing for this village that they had yet to see? With aching anticipation, Sarah held her breath, waiting. The air felt thick with anticipation, as if the heavens themselves were holding their breath. Sarah could see the flicker of light reflecting off the stained glass, dancing across the faces of her neighbors. Each face glowed with hope, yet her heart still wrestled with a lingering uncertainty. As Father Thomas raised his hands, inviting silence to fall over them, Sarah felt the weight of her fears pressing down. "We gather not only to share our burdens, but to give thanks," he declared softly. "Today, let us also recount the blessings that have graced us. Every flicker of light in our lives deserves recognition." One by one, villagers began to speak, their voices weaving a rich tapestry of gratitude. A mother expressed thankfulness for a healthy child. A couple shared their joy over a new home. Each story brought warmth, layers of light filling the church, pushing back the shadows of despair. Sarah listened, enraptured by their joy, yet something remained unspoken within her. Would these joys overshadow the doubts she harbored? The realization struck her hard. A voice, though small and tentative, stirred inside. "What if my blessing is still yet to come?" she thought. "What if joy exists just outside of my reach?" Mr. Williams spoke again, his voice trembling but filled with newfound strength. "We often forget, dear friends," he said, echoing a wisdom that resonated deeply within her, "that our darkest moments can also be the soil for our greatest blessings. When we share our troubles, we sow seeds of hope into the universe. Let us not just seek light, but also become the light for one another." His words settled in the air, bringing a hush to the gathering, then a ripple of murmurs. Sarah's heart raced, sensing a divine thread weaving through their stories. Could her own life reflect the same miraculous transformation? As moments stretched into a hushed embrace, a flicker of movement caught Sarah's eye. A newcomer stood just inside the church door, silhouetted by the dawn's golden light. Enigmatic and serene, he watched the congregation, a soft smile playing on his lips. Something in his presence felt both familiar and foreign, igniting a sense of awe within Sarah. Father Thomas noticed the newcomer too, a knowing warm gaze meeting the strangers. "Dearest friends," he said, speaking to the congregation with reverence, "with us stands a messenger of hope. In his presence we may find the answers we seek." A collective gasp erupted from the crowd, a mixture of curiosity and joy spilling forth. Who was this man, this bearer of divine potential? With every heartbeat, Sarah felt the currents of longing tug at her spirit. Would he hold the key to the miracle they craved? The stranger stepped forward, his eyes glimmering with wisdom. You have invited blessings through your prayers, and they are indeed on the way, he spoke, his voice smooth like honey. But to receive them, you must first look within and see the light that already resides in you. Sarah leaned forward, heart pounding. His words rang true, a challenge to rediscover her own faith. What more divine revelation awaited them? What inner journey would they embark upon together? As silence settled, anticipation crackled through the air once more. Perhaps the miracle wasn't just outside, but within. With a prayer unuttered on her lips, Sarah felt the urge to act. What steps must she take to truly embrace the light within? How could they manifest this miracle together? The dawn was breaking, but the faith journey was only just beginning. The stillness enveloped the church, weaving an ethereal blanket of peace that intermingled with the electricity of hope. Sarah felt her heart tremble with possibility. She could sense the burgeoning spirit around her, a wave of longing for connection and transformation. The stranger's eyes held hers, and in that shared moment, light seemed to cascade between them. Each of you holds a piece of the divine, he continued softly, his gaze moving to embrace the whole congregation. It is time to acknowledge that every challenge is also an invitation to grow, to explore, and to bloom into the fullness of what you are meant to be. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Could it be that everything she had experienced, the heartache, the uncertainty, even the flicker of joy, was a part of her divine journey? Her hands, clenched tightly in her lap, began to relax as she let the idea soak in. Behind her, a voice rang out, a child's voice, innocent and clear. "But how do we find that light?" young Samuel asked, his wide eyes searching the crowd as if to gather all the answers from the collective wisdom of his surroundings. The stranger smiled, a soft glow radiating from him as he leaned slightly forward. "Ah, young one, what a wonderful question. Finding the light within is indeed a journey. Each of you must look deep into your hearts, searching for those moments that stir you with love and hope. Acknowledge your fears, but do not let them bind you. For within each heart lies the truth, a beacon waiting to shine." As he spoke, Sarah felt a shifting within her soul, like the first stirrings of spring after a long winter. A reminder that despite her struggles, there was something beautiful blooming inside her, perhaps waiting for nourishment to flourish. The thought filled her heart with warmth, and she risked a glance around the room. The faces of her neighbors were aglow now, each reflecting a flicker of revelation. Father Thomas stepped forward, the sacred air charged with an abiding sense of unity. "Together, let us stand in our truth," he urged. "Let us lift our voices in song, each note a testament to the light we hold and the journey we share." The congregation began to sing, voices rising as a tapestry of sound that intertwined with the ancient stones of the church. Sarah joined in, her voice blending with those around her, harmonizing with their hopes and dreams. Each note radiated a profound energy, resonating with the intent to connect not only with each other, but also with the divine. As the final chords lingered in the air, silence fell once more, heavy with the presence of possibility. In that quiet, Sarah felt the urge to speak, her heart pulling at her courage. What if we began a journey together? Her voice, though soft, held a clarity that surprised her. The stranger nodded gently. "Ah, yes, a journey towards awareness, towards understanding the light in each of you. It will lead to your individual blessings and the miracles that lay ahead." Excitement stirred in the room as others began to respond, sharing their thoughts of exploration, of moving forward together. Each voice an echo of determination, weaving into a chorus of commitment. With the dawn's light illuminating the window, Sarah sensed that not only was her heart opening, but that they had taken the first step on a shared path. What awaited them in the coming days? What light would break forth as they embraced their journeys? The question hung palpably in the air, promising mystery and divinity. With hearts wide open, they were ready to discover the depths of their faith together, and Sarah understood. This was only the beginning. What miraculous revelations awaited them? The church buzzed with a gentle energy, each soul touched by the promise of something new. Sarah could feel her heartbeat connecting her to those around her. The stranger's words echoed in her mind like a soft refrain. Each challenge was an invitation. "Let us embark on this journey then," Sarah thought to herself. Excitement fluttered in her chest, intertwining with a nervousness she couldn't shake. Would they truly find the light? Would the community rally together, discovering the divine in each other? Father Thomas stood before them, his expression illuminated with hope. "For the next 12 days," he proclaimed, his voice steady and fervent, "we will gather. Each day we shall explore a different aspect of the divine light within us. Together, we will uncover our true selves." The murmurs of agreement filled the space, an uplifting melody of faith. Sarah felt a surge of determination. She imagined the potential, days filled with exploration, laughter, and moments of revelation. Each heartbeat drummed a rhythm of anticipation. From the back of the church, Samuel raised his hand once more, his innocence still shining. "What will we do on these days?" His question was simple, yet it cut through the haze of excitement, bringing clarity. "Excellent question," the stranger replied, now addressing the boy directly. "We will sing, we will pray, and share our stories. Each moment will be a thread in the tapestry of our journey." The stranger's eyes sparkled with understanding as he made eye contact with individuals in the crowd, igniting connections that ran deeper than skin. People nodded and smiled in response, each of their faces a testament to shared belief. As they discussed plans, Sarah's mind wandered to her own heart. What would she uncover in those 12 days? Would she truly flourish? A sudden thought struck her. What if she carried a piece of the divine spirit that she had never yet revealed? The idea ignited a fire within her. Every face in the congregation reflected their shared determination, their yearning for transformation. Sarah's gaze landed on a young woman in the second row, whose eyes shone bright with unshed tears. There was vulnerability in her expression, an eagerness to break free from the burdens binding her spirit. "Together, we will create a sanctuary," Father Thomas continued, "a place where fears transform into trust and burdens into blessings." He gestured warmly to encompass everyone, a collective embrace of faith. With each announcement, the room grew heavier with anticipation, like a spring full of promise. Sarah felt uplifted in that sacred moment. Every worry she had clung to began to dissolve, replaced instead by a shimmering possibility. The community might truly be the support she sought. "Let's not forget," the stranger said, raising his voice to capture their attention once again. "The journey is not just about finding light within, it's also about offering that illumination to others. Are you ready to share your light?" The question stirred a wave of energy, hearts quickening with the urgency of it. Sarah looked around, each face reflecting the spirit of readiness. "Yes," she thought, "together we can ignite each other's light." "Tomorrow we will gather in the park," Father Thomas declared, sealing the pact above their shared faith. "Bring your stories, your hopes, and your fears. Let them mingle in our sacred space." As they departed, Sarah felt a bubbling joy building inside her. The sun began to set, casting golden rays through the church windows, marking the beginning of something profound. She could see that light thriving all around her. Yet, in the midst of her joy, an uncertainty brushed against her heart. Would they really find the depths promised? Could true transformation occur over 12 simple days? With each step toward the door, Sarah clung to that question. What miracles awaited them on this path they had chosen? And was she truly ready to shine? The promise of the dawn made her pause, just for a moment. It was a new beginning, a divine mystery still waiting to unfold. What awaited them in those 12 days of grace? The next morning saw a gentle mist embracing the town as dawn broke, softly pushing away the shadows of night. Sarah wandered to the park, her heart still fluttering with anticipation. She could feel the cool air kiss her cheeks, invigorating her spirit, urging her forward. The sun began to rise, capturing the world in its golden embrace, much like the light she hoped to discover within herself. Arriving at the park, she noticed the gathering crowd, each face animated with eagerness. Father Thomas greeted them with a warm smile, his presence acting like a flame igniting the hearts around him. The stranger stood beside him, his eyes reflecting the morning light, ready to guide their first step on this grand journey. Today, we focus on gratitude, Father Thomas announced, his voice rising above the gentle rustle of leaves. Let us begin our day by expressing thankfulness for the blessings knitted into our lives. As they gathered in a circle, Sarah felt the weight of her past struggles gradually lifting. She took a deep breath, soaking in the presence of everyone around her. The woman she had noticed in church stood on her left, her eyes now brightening with hope. Let us share what we are grateful for, Father Thomas invited. One by one, voices joined in a beautiful symphony of thanksgiving, the sound wrapping around them like a warm blanket. I'm thankful for my family, a man shared, his voice steady but filled with emotion. I'm thankful for this community, another added, her eyes glistening. When Sarah's turn beckoned, her heart trembled. I'm grateful for moments like this, where I can be surrounded by love and faith. Her voice grew firmer as she spoke, for the chance to discover my light and for all of you who ignite that within me. A ripple of soft affirmations flew around the circle. As attendees spoke, Sarah noticed the light in the stranger's eyes intensify, almost reflecting the warmth of every shared story. It was as if their individual sparks were weaving into a greater fire. Hope swirled in the air, palpable and bright. Every thank you is a thread that connects us, the stranger interjected thoughtfully. Challenge yourselves to recognize each act of gratitude as a way to illuminate another's path. Imagine the power we hold together. His words enveloped them, adding layers of depth to their resolve. Each sharing wrapped Sarah's heart in a growing comfort, where her nervousness started to dissipate. The young woman next to her finally spoke, her voice trembling yet filled with courage. I'm grateful for the strength to change, for the chance to break free from my past. Tears streamed down her cheeks, and in that raw openness something shifted. The collective energy in the park transformed. The grace unfolding felt electric, binding them together in shared vulnerability. As the morning passed, they sang songs of praise, each note lifting them higher. Each chord resonated like a heartbeat, pulsing with the essence of hope. Sarah marveled at the joy bubbling within her. She felt closer to understanding her purpose, her divine essence illuminating like the sun above. Yet, amidst the joy and unity, an unexpected question crept into her heart. Are we truly ready to face the shadows in our gratitude? What darkness might emerge when they delve deeper, exploring not just the luminous beams but also the shadows lurking beneath the surface? The light felt beautiful and inviting, but were they prepared for all that unveiling might reveal? As Sarah gazed around, she could see the ambivalence mirrored in some faces, a dance of fear entwined with excitement. For now, they had taken their first step together, but what awaited them in the coming days? Would they embrace the shadows as they unveiled their souls? The path ahead shimmered with promise, yet uncertainty lingered in the air, wrapping around them like an uninvited guest. And so, the journey continued. As the day unfolded, the golden rays of sunlight warmed the park, cultivating a space where souls could bloom together. Sarah took a moment to breathe, to soak in the fresh scent of grass and the laughter of children playing nearby. It felt as if the earth itself was alive with energy, inviting each person to shed their burdens and step into the light. Let's take a moment to reflect, Father Thomas encouraged, his gentle voice guiding them back from the chatter. Gratitude is not just for the good moments. It's about recognizing those things that challenge us as well. We can discover grace even in our valleys. His words pulled at Sarah's heart. She thought of the struggles she had endured, the darkness that once cloaked her spirit. Could gratitude truly extend to those shadows? As if sensing her internal struggle, the stranger beside Father Thomas caught her gaze and nodded reassuringly. His eyes held depths of understanding, as if he had faced similar journeys. One by one, the group began to share deeper reflections. It was no longer just surface-level gratitude, but a dive into vulnerability. A woman spoke of the grief she carried after losing a loved one, yet she expressed gratitude for the love they had shared and the lessons she learned through her pain. Another man spoke of his recent job loss, sharing how, in the quiet moments of uncertainty, he had found a newfound passion that ignited hope within him. Each story spun a more intricate web of connection among them. Sarah felt her own heart begin to unravel. The weight of fear and sadness slowly lifted as she listened to her neighbors embrace their scars. She could see light glimmers in their words, illuminating the truth that shadows were, indeed, a part of the journey. Gratitude transforms even the bitter into sweetness, the stranger remarked, an inviting smile dancing on his lips. When we acknowledge our trials, we grant our souls the strength to rise. It makes our light all the more radiant. Sarah's heart raced. She had always shied away from discussing her struggles. Yet here, enveloped in a circle of understanding, she felt the urge to speak. I've hidden from my past for so long. I've allowed doubt and fear to dim my light. But now, as I listen to you all, it strikes me that those shadows, those moments of despair, are part of my story too. A hush fell over the group at her honesty. Their eyes glimmered, reflecting both empathy and encouragement. We hold each other's fears together, Father Thomas replied, his voice steady and warm. In vulnerability, we find our strength. In sharing, we deepen our faith. As they continued, laughter and tears flowed freely. The collective release painted the air with a healing balm, washing over each heart as shadows danced in the brightening light. It became clear that this journey was not merely about gratitude. It was about embracing the full tapestry of existence and recognizing the divine threads woven through every experience, luminous or shadowed. Yet, as Sarah left the park that day, the question still echoed in her soul. What happens when we finally confront the very heart of our shadows? Could acknowledging pain really allow them to transmute it into light? And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the town, Sarah felt a stirring within her. She was ready to explore the depths of her heart, to tap into whatever lies beneath her surface. But the realization brought both excitement and fear, intertwining like vines around her spirit. What discoveries awaited her in the shadows she had long avoided? As the night blanketed the earth, the journey continued deeper still. The stars began to twinkle like scattered diamonds across the dark canvas of the night, and as Sarah walked, a gentle breeze whispered through the trees, rustling their leaves in a soft choir. She felt a presence, a warmth enveloping her, as if the universe wrapped her in a loving embrace. With each step, her heart resonated with the group's reflections, sparks of understanding blazing through the darkness she had clung to for so long. Could it really be true? She pondered. Could opening myself to the shadows untangle the knots that held my spirit so tightly? The questions circled her mind like fireflies dancing in the night, illuminating the depths she had yet to explore. Shadows no longer felt like enemies. They seemed to be teachers, urging her towards a transformation she had never envisioned. The park, now deserted, echoed faintly with remnants of laughter and shared stories. Sarah decided to pause, to close her eyes and listen. She inhaled deeply, filling her lungs with the scent of damp earth, a scent that spoke of growth and renewal. In her stillness, she imagined each inhale bringing in light, and each exhale releasing the weight of her fears. I need to confront my shadows, she whispered softly to herself, her breath steadying with the resolve. To break free, I must invite them in. The thought was both liberating and daunting, like standing at the edge of a great chasm, the unknown stretching before her. As she opened her eyes, a flicker caught her attention, a small lantern hanging from a nearby tree, the flame within dancing joyfully. It seemed to beckon her closer, urging her to approach with trust. She stepped forward, drawn as if by a divine thread, and felt a spark of divine curiosity ignite within her. Is this the light that resides even in the darkest corners? She wondered, standing before the lantern. Could my own heart hold such brilliance? Suddenly she was aware of a weight upon her heart, yet it was not burdensome. Instead, it transformed into a gentle nudge, pushing her to dig deeper into her own reflections. What were the shadows she had kept hidden? What truths did they hide? The corners of her mind began to fill with memories, lost opportunities, the sting of past disappointments, and the burden of insecurity. But the lantern's light shimmered through her thoughts like a thread of gold. If each moment of pain contained a piece of wisdom, then she was standing on the brink of a treasure trove, waiting to be unveiled. Even in the darkest points in her life, God had never left her side. What if every hurt instead of shackling me could unshackle others? She mused, the realization bathing her in a warm glow. To speak of her scars could help another soul heal. Perhaps sharing would be her light in the shadows. As she took a step back, the lantern flickered, casting fascinating shadows around her. Each movement seemed to draw out the essence of the story she had pushed aside, calling for acknowledgement. "Stillness births clarity," she breathed, a smile growing on her lips. "What if tonight is the night I embrace my truth?" The air shimmered with anticipation as she turned toward her home. The journey into her heart had only begun, and with each passing moment she felt the weight lifting, setting her spirit free. What awaited as she stepped into her new reality? What transformations lay before her when she met her shadows with grace? And as she walked away, a realization unfolded like petals of a blooming flower. What if vulnerability could transform not only her, but those around her? As the path beyond glimmered in the moonlight, she felt ready for the revelations ahead, eager to tread boldly into the depths of her own story. Would Sarah discover the miraculous connection that awaited her in embracing the unfamiliar? The promise of transformation shimmered around her like starlight, teasing yet to be grasped. The moon hovered like a watchful guardian in the sky, casting a silver glow on Sarah's path as she made her way home. Each step felt lighter now, as if the burdens she carried were merely shadows fading in the dawn of newfound courage. She could still see the lantern's warm glow in her mind, its flickering flame representing a light that had ignited something deep within her spirit. Emboldened, she let her thoughts wander further into the realms of possibility. What would it mean to fully embrace her truth? To let her vulnerabilities flow as freely as the breeze that rushed around her? It struck her in that moment how often she had hidden her struggles, how frequently she masked her pain behind a smile, fearing the judgment of others. Yet with each heartbeat, she felt a surge of divine affirmation that perhaps, just perhaps, her scars could indeed illuminate the way for others. "Lord, guide me," she murmured as she approached her front door. The familiar creak of the wood welcomed her home. Inside, the stillness enveloped her once more, inviting her to pause and reflect. She settled into her favorite chair, the gentle fabric cradling her as she closed her eyes and breathed in deeply, savoring the combination of relief and anticipation. The shadows she once feared now danced enticingly around her thoughts, and she felt an urgency to invite them to the forefront. Each flicker carried whispers of resilience, urging her to reach out, to share the stories woven into the fabric of her being. If I spoke my truth aloud, she thought, would it empower others? Would it soften their burdens? In that moment, a realization struck her with gentle clarity. Sharing wouldn't mean losing herself. It would be a powerful act, a sacred offering to others who were suffering. Just as the lantern's light illuminated her surroundings, revealing the details she hadn't noticed before, so too could her honesty shine light on the paths of those still wandering in darkness. Tears welled in her eyes, a mixture of joy and sorrow. "You are powerful, Sarah," she whispered. "Your story is a gift." As she felt the warmth of that acknowledgement envelop her, she envisioned a community of people, each seeking solace and hope. Within them lay the same pain she held: fear, insecurity, doubt. The flames of her conviction burned within her as the idea of a gathering formed in her mind. What if we could create a sacred space where our vulnerabilities were celebrated, where shadows felt safe? The thought caused her heart to race with both excitement and fear. Would others come? Would they too uncover their hidden treasures? Just then, a soft rustling outside captured her attention. She peered through the window toward the park, where the lantern still hung, its light darting playfully as if encouraging her forward. A sense of divine prompting blossomed in her spirit. It was time to act. As the thought of organizing a gathering began to settle in her heart, a wave of peace washed over her. The connection she felt with the lantern deepened. It was not merely an object, it was a symbol of hope, a beacon for others lost in their struggles. Sarah found herself asking, could this be what I'm called to do? To be a lantern for those in need? With that question lingering in her heart, a bright glow enveloped her being. Hope surged within her, and the unknown no longer appeared daunting. It sparkled with possibility. Who would come to gather? What stories would they share? How would lives transform when they stepped into the light together? The night swirled with promise as she sat back, confident in the journey that awaited her. She felt a divine push, the kind that tells you there's more to discover. What unexpected joys lay ahead as she embraced her calling? The question danced in her mind, ready for the next step. eager to unfold more of the beautiful tapestry the Lord was weaving in her life. The sun rose gradually over the quaint village, casting a golden hue that enveloped everything in warmth and love. Sarah opened her window, letting the early morning breeze kiss her face, carrying the fragrance of flowers in bloom. Today was the day. Her lantern gathering would take shape. Bright anticipation ignited her spirit, urging her to embrace this divine calling with open arms. As she prepared for the day, thoughts of the support she had felt from her community washed over her like gentle waves. Her heart swelled as she reflected on how their shared stories nourished her faith. It inspired her to create a space where vulnerability could blossom beautiful connections. "I can't wait to witness the light shine through each heart," she whispered. With newfound determination, she made her way to the park, excitement bubbling within her. The air felt thick with potential. Each person she passed was a thread in the tapestry of her vision. Sarah set up chairs around a circle, positioning a small table at the center, the designated space for their lantern of hope. As the hour approached, villagers began to arrive, each bringing with them an aura of curiosity and warmth. Sarah greeted them with a smile, her heart racing as she welcomed each friend who stepped into this sacred space. They came with their burdens, their stories, and a shared desire for healing. "Welcome, everyone," she said, her voice steady and bright. "Today, I invite you to embrace our truths. Together, let's illuminate the shadows of our hearts and discover the beautiful light that resides within each of us." The murmurs of agreement wrapped around her words, building a palpable excitement in the air. With Father Thomas and the mysterious stranger standing nearby, the atmosphere thickened with divine possibility. Sarah felt guidance wash over her, reminding her she was a vessel of something larger than herself. One by one, villagers began to share their stories, their voices mingling harmoniously in the air. A mother spoke of her struggles balancing work and family, but expressed gratitude for her children's love. A teenager unveiled her insecurities, revealing how being accepted by the community encouraged her to find her own inner strength. As the stories unfolded, tears flowed, some of joy, others of heartache, but all were threads woven into an intricate fabric of faith and compassion. With each shared revelation, Sarah felt their light merge, breaking through the barriers of fear and doubt, illuminating the entire gathering. Then it was Sarah's turn. She took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of her neighbors' supportive gazes resting on her. "I've always been afraid of revealing my struggles, fearing judgment," she began, her voice steady yet vulnerable. "But I've realized that in sharing our shadows, we allow others to step into the light together. I'm a work in progress, and today I choose to nurture the light within while inviting you all to do the same." A hush enveloped the group, then sparks of recognition flickered in their eyes. Sarah could see the impact of her words, igniting something deeper within them. The stranger nodded encouragingly, affirming that her bravery had unveiled layers of truth in the room. As the gathering continued, laughter erupted alongside tears, weaving a tapestry of connection that bound their hearts tighter together. The light in each individual grew stronger, brighter, casting away doubt and fear like shadows chased away by the dawn. In that sacred environment, miracles began to manifest. The widow found solace in shared grief, and the businessman uncovered renewed hope in the friendships blossoming around him. Children danced in the corners, their laughter echoing the joy that enveloped the space. Before long, Sarah noticed the stranger step forward, his eyes radiant as he surveyed the gathering. "Dear friends, the light is more than just within you. It's here, in this space we've created together. You've not only embraced your own stories, but fortified each other's spirits. Remember, the light you find here will continue to grow and flourish as you carry it into the world." As they concluded with a prayer, the energy in the air felt transformative. Hands were clasped, hearts were lifted, and a sense of divine connection settled deep within every soul present. Once the gathering closed, Sarah witnessed her neighbors depart with newfound brilliance, smiles lighting their faces like lanterns glowing against the dark. As she picked up the chairs, her heart swelled. This was what it meant to create change. They had transformed together, and she knew the journey was just beginning. Walking home that evening, the stars sparkled brilliantly against the darkened sky, reflecting the light within her. What wonders lie ahead, she pondered, basking in hope and joy. With every step, she felt more empowered to share her story, confident in the knowledge that vulnerability fostered connection, understanding, and healing. In the days to come, she would nurture this light, welcoming her shadows as teachers on her journey. Each day held the promise of miracles, waiting to burst forth through shared love and support. "This is only the beginning," Sarah smiled as she turned the key to her home, anticipation bubbling within her. The night enveloped her like a comforting embrace, insinuating that greater revelations awaited. The divine was unfolding, and Sarah was ready to walk boldly into whatever awaited her. Now is your moment. If you found inspiration in Sarah's journey, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this message further. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this impactful ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Remember, true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions.